The Board of Selectmen meeting for January 20, 2015. This is the warm-up meeting for the State of the Union speech tonight at 9. Thank you all for tuning in for the warm-up. We want to start out, as we always do, by reminding people that the meeting is being recorded, and also we take a moment of appreciation for our servicemen and women serving around the world. Thank you. First, that the Norfolk County Register of Deeds, Bill O'Donnell, will be available at the Town Hall on Thursday, February 12th, 10 a.m. till noon, to help answer questions or concerns about any Registry of Deed matters. We should also announce that Representative Garlick is holding her report to the community in Medfield on Thursday, February 5, from 7 to 8:30. It's usually in this room, but I don't...
Yes, it is.
It is. It'll be here in this room. We're starting with fiscal 2016 departmental budget reviews, and we have the Superintendent of Public Works, Board of Water and Sewage. My goodness, Ken, you wear so many hats. So you're starting out, and then at 7:20, we have the Treasurer Collector, Georgia Clevis.
And we also have the chairman and associate members, so why don't I get the chairman so he could be aware of it.
I have a request, I've been asked to kind of go in order. We can start out with the tree budget. And the areas that it's gone up in is telephone, is the tree warden's telephone, which we never had in the tree budget before. Okay, so now that Ed Hinckley is the tree warden only, he has that phone for call-outs in the middle of the evening and stuff like that, cell phone.
Yep.
So that's a grand whopping 0.75% increase.
Can I ask you a question on that? Is there a separate line item that deals with just the tree planting? When he was in before, I was seeing if he could get almost like a master plan of looking down the road, like when a tree gets taken down or it comes down in a storm, some kind of a program that we would kind of replace that so we don't just keep losing them. You know, is there?
Yeah, we've done it. I mean, we have done it, but, as the line item planting, no, but maintenance of the shade trees and things like that, there is a line item that has that. And,
Would that be under tree supplies?
Yeah, could be under tree supplies, let me see, Gaston. Yeah, and, we move around in the budget the way, it depends upon where it's going. We have planted trees in the past. Matter of fact, we actually, one year, put like about 10,000 in there to do a massive tree planting. And, but we don't have it there. But still, your tree services and things like that, $40,000. If we have a good year, we have a lot of dead trees around, the elms and things like that.
Right.
We are taking down. And Eddie does a good job, and, sometimes we can plant trees too. And I think that's where we're going with that.
Yeah, my only question is if there was a way we could almost get like a master plan if we looked, well, here's North Street or Main Street or South Street, some kind of plan that next year, this would be a good area to plant the following year.
You can do that. Yep,
Yeah,
you can do that.
then
Yep,
at least we
there's
got kind of a plan.
If you see any areas, or the Board of Selectmen see any areas where they'd like to see some tree planting, make sure they're not under the wires,
Right.
because when they get up there, they're going to get a whiffle.
Or on the sidewalks.
Or on the side, well, the sidewalks, we like to put them at the back of the sidewalks, a
Right.
lot of times, on private property, if they'll accept the tree, and because it keeps them away from the salt.
Right.
And once they become a significant tree, the roots lift up the sidewalks and stuff like that. So it's better at the back of the sidewalk. In our planning rules and subdivision rules, that the plantings are so many feet apart, but they are all on private property out of the road layout, just so the survival rate is much better.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that something maybe even like a 5-year, 3-year plan of looking
You can
down
do
the
that.
road?
Absolutely, you can do
Okay.
that. Sure, you can do that.
So I think
But I think you have to, we have to come up with a plan.
Right.
And I'm sure that Eddie would be more than happy to work with
Right.
the board and do that,
Because I think it's, if you look at Medfield, it's a special quality of that. And you keep cutting them down and losing them with storms, it'd be good to replant.
Yep.
I noticed we had the issue of the beavers attacking the trees up on the causeway.
Yeah, we took that tree down
Yeah,
because
I mean, that was a
in
huge
fear of
tree.
it going the other way onto the wires and across
yeah.
the street, yeah. So we had to take that tree down.
Yeah. Okay, if he can do that, that would be great.
We can talk about that, whether it's a future meeting or whatever, coming up with a tree plan, that's fine, yeah.
One other thing I just wanted to point out as far as Ken's budget goes, the tree budget has traditionally been designed to take care of street trees, what they call the Shade Tree Act. Occasionally, if they're asked to help in one of the other town-owned properties, they will help out if they can. Sometimes they get requests for large-scale tree work within a land area. For example, they've had a request for $10,000 worth of work in the Park and Rec.
Yeah.
And Ken turned them down because the budget isn't designed to do that. If the expectation becomes such that they're expected to do work outside of
Yeah.
the public ways,
Yeah,
then I think that needs to be reflected in the budget.
yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
Well, that tree that came down on Causeway isn't in this budget at all, I don't think, probably, is it?
well,
Yeah, the tree that,
Tree
the
service.
beavers
tree, yeah.
took halfway down, we finished it off.
Right, but that's not covered by this budget, is it?
Oh, yeah, it's covered, that's a shade tree on Causeway Street, matter of fact, Causeway Street is a scenic road also.
So
Yeah.
did the highway department take that tree down, or did?
No, the tree department took the tree down.
But there's no money here for taking trees down.
It is
Well,
contract.
no,
tree service.
it's outside contracts.
There's a contract.
Well, that's what I was saying. that,
It's a
yeah, we
private
didn't-
contractor.
We didn't use the private contractor, didn't we use the DPW to take that tree down?
No, we
Oh,
used
okay,
private
that's what I thought,
contractor,
that's
yeah.
what I was asking.
Private contractor, yeah. We didn't want
I
to.
think that with the tree planting plan, and I think that we should have a plan, but I think the first step is to get an inventory and have a good data as to what we actually have. And I thought that someone was doing that for us, that we were putting together a list so that we had on the GIS system every tree and the type of tree.
Well, I know Mike Luter did some volunteer work for us, and, taking a look at an inventory of trees, I think in the downtown area. The other thing is, remember, Richard, we met with NSTAR, and they do have a tree program,
Right.
so that may save us a lot of money.
Right.
Eddie has been working with that gentleman from NSTAR, and, it could be, a positive thing for us.
Wasn't there a student who was?
There was. In the downtown study committee, there was a student that worked as an intern for the summer, and he compiled, Bobby Kennedy can probably add to this, but he added, I think, the whole downtown area that he did, so we do have that list. I'm not sure how far outside the downtown, maybe Sarah can, use your mic if you would, Sarah.
The tree locations were mapped, but nothing was done to enhance the attributes of the mapping. So we don't have the species or size, caliper, or anything like that,
We just have the number,
just the locations.
the location. Okay. So we have the preliminary part, so maybe that could be expanded on.
Yeah, it would be good to get someone to go around and put the labels of the trees, types, and the data on each tree.
We can do that. Next department, going in order, is the highway department.
A little bit larger,
Pardon me?
a little bit larger. We're moving from 63,000 to 1,000,003, basically.
Basically. You got to remember, this is 54 weeks payroll, so this is a large payroll. So it's 54 weeks, and for a change, it's younger members of the department, so they do have step increases. And so the salaries alone are up 8.5%, and that's due to the 54 weeks and the step raises. Also, in that salaries line item, we're looking for one additional employee. Okay? And that would be worth about $40,000.
What would that be for, Ken?
We lost through attrition, we lost a couple of positions on the highway department. I think we've replaced one. We're looking for another one. It was easier to make the cuts there at the time when we were going through the lean times, the recession area. and it was easier not to lay somebody off or bring somebody in and lay them off, you know what I mean?
Right.
Type of a situation, and maintain the infrastructure of the town. So we do take a priority on maintaining the streets, and so through attrition, retirements, we lost that position, and we're looking for it. We did bring this up last year, and the warrant committee was a little bit, shaky about it, and I just withdrew it just to keep them happy. And so we're back again asking for it, and I think, we'll probably, with a 54-week payroll, we might not be able to afford that this year. I'll have to run it by the warrant committee, and obviously I'm running it by you guys right now. But I think it's important.
Do we have a mechanic? I know we had lost one originally. Is there a
Yep,
mechanic?
we have one mechanic,
Is
okay?
that
But
sufficient?
the highway guys come in and they work with him. By the way, the new facility is working out wonderfully. The guys are happy. It's great. It's indoor operation now. Strangest thing to do is go down to the garage and not find any vehicles outside. Everything's inside. So it works. It's working very well. And we appreciate your support for that garage. Much needed facility. Coming down there, come down sometime, see the mechanics bay. It's full of trucks being worked on, and it's a modern facility. It's an incredible facility, and we really thank the taxpayers and the Board of Selectmen, Warrant Committee, and everybody that supported it. So just a little promo there. But so anyway, the salaries are driving most of it.
Yep.
The overall budget's about 6% increase, level, all the way down here. And yeah, the rest of the budget is level budget. So it is the salary, it's driven by the salaries, the 54 paychecks and the step increases. Again, we are a younger, before we had a lot of people on the max, so they weren't getting step raises. Now we have younger people, and they get step raises, plus we have the 54-week payroll. So that's where everything is on the highway.
Ken, would things like sidewalks come into this budget under
We
highway
have a
material?
sidewalk budget, which
be
is
separate?
maintenance of sidewalks. The next one in line for you is the snow and ice.
Gonna have all kinds of money left over this year.
There's the kiss of death. Don't say that. But anyway, yeah, we're in snow and ice. What we did is we just, under the operations, we're asking for a 5% increase because we never make it through the winter without getting an emergency transfer. We can increase it by 5, or we can let it go. It's you understand that the Board of Selectmen and the Warrant Committee have to declare a snow emergency for us to continue operations, and it usually happens every year. I just try and throw some money, ask for some money in there so that we don't make it a complete joke, run out of snow money in December and stuff like that. But again, we're not pressing the issue. We do have the snow emergency to go to, in declaration to finish the winter. We're doing pretty well right now, but these have been chemical storms, and salt costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the people spreading the salt still get paid the same amount of money. So it's, other than we don't call in the other departments right now.
I think what people have to realize too is it's not necessarily the amount of snow, because even the little storms we've had, with the ice, you still got to put your trucks out there, even if it's 1 or 2 inches. and
Right,
Your
and
crew still has
it's
to
been all
go out.
chemical storms so far. And, we got hit with Martin Luther King Day. It froze all up at the early morning. It froze right over on Martin Luther King Day, so that's double time they get paid. Holiday, yeah. So it can be expensive real quick. But we're not broke yet. No snow emergency, so, which is a good deal. Town garage, this is it's basically, it's the groundskeeping, things like that. We just level budgeted it. It's $11,203. We feel as though that there's no more grounds with the new facility than there was with the old, and we didn't find any, not necessary to increase that.
You have larger heating and
Oh,
electrical
no,
bills?
that comes up in your public utilities budget.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions there?
Nope.
So that's level. Equipment repair and maintenance. Again, we hit with the 54 weeks, so it's about a 5% increase in the wages. But the overall increase on this budget in equipment maintenance is 1.6%. Last year in fuel, we spent $66,755 in fuel, but that was at Randy's gas station. So we level budgeted the fuel at $60,000, and right now the market looks pretty good for us. We buy our fuel through the Norfolk County Purchasing Group. Okay, so it's we play the market there. We'll be doing a new contract probably in September, and when we buy in is important. I think, if the fuel prices go up during the summer, we want to buy before then. But the contracts go September to September. But that's a real good agency the county does for us, the group purchasing. They also have maintenance of HAVC and things like that. Our new facilities manager or energy person, I probably want to introduce some people down at the Norfolk County for that group purchasing things for maintenance of buildings and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten there yet, but we will.
Justin is the mechanic.
Justin's the mechanic, yep, and a good one.
Ken, what's the, in the equipment repair and service, the 143,000 there?
Equipment repair and service, 143,000. That would be for your parts, maintenance of the trucks. We have 40 major pieces of equipment in the highway department, in Public Works. We maintain the water department trucks, the sewer department trucks, highway trucks, cemetery trucks, transfer station, the whole 10 yards. Yeah, that's what it is. It's level budgeted, which is good. And, yeah, so we did good there. So basically, it is just a 1.6% increase driven by wages, the 54 weeks again.
Ken, with the new garage, are you able to do more of your maintenance work in-house now with the lift and the pit?
Absolutely,
Okay, so
absolutely.
rather than sending it out, you can do it.
Absolutely. The crane, which was people questioned, there isn't a day that goes by that they're not using it to lift equipment, and it's well worth it. And the maintenance bays are full, and the trucks are up on lifts. You got to remember, we do bring guys in to help out on the maintenance with Justin. So we work well together, and our guys are just not heavy equipment operators that won't get out of trucks. Remember, we're non-union. Our guys do everything, whatever we ask them to do, and they really are a great unit and a great group of people to work with. Easygoing group, and really deserve a lot of accolades for what they do in a small department.
So Ken, go ahead.
I just think that makes it very fortunate and how flexible the highway department crew are. They can go from one to another and wear several hats, and that really saves the town a bundle rather than having a different hat for each one, so that's credit to them.
Yep, that is absolutely a credit to them. We work for Council on Aging, we work for Park and Recreation, whatever, groups want us. They have little small projects and things like that we try and pick up and take care of them.
I was just going to ask, that when you say you bring people in to work with Justin, you're talking about bringing in other highway department?
Highway department people, when they're available. Right now, we're out looking for potholes, maintenance and things like that, brush cutting and along those lines. But with no snow, great. We can get all these extra little things done. Put some people in the mechanics bays and take care of some other stuff, the basic, the small mechanical things. So it helps. It works out good for us. Sidewalks. Sidewalks has been $20,000 for probably 20 years. And this is for the maintenance of the existing sidewalks in the town of Medfield. An example of how expensive a sidewalk can be, we spent $40,000 on Roach Brothers over here. This is just that short stretch with the cement and the brick and stuff like that. So you can see how expensive it really is. So this is actually maintenance. We'll go into a subdivision. And so what we're doing, we're asking for $10,000 more. But we will go into a subdivision before we do our stone seals in there. We'll do all the sidewalks over. And with asphalt, we have a sidewalk machine, and that's where it goes into to maintain and complete the subdivision sidewalks along with the resurfacing, crack filling, whatever else has to be done in there. So we try and do everything in a subdivision that has to be done, so we don't come back to it. We want to do it all at once. So that's the way we attack subdivisions.
So if, there's
maintenance.
been some discussion of whether or not to have a sidewalk on Metacomet Street. If we went that route, would that be a separate article town meeting? Would that come out of the sidewalk budget?
No, we were maintaining existing sidewalks under this. I think that we're taking a look at that. We actually brought our engineers in to look at a number of projects. Metacomet was one of them. We have a narrow road layout, and the side that you would prefer to have the sidewalk in, we don't have a layout on that side. But if we put it on the other side, the kids cross the street to get to it, they're not going to use it. And you would shorten some people's driveway, which really gets kind of personal. So I think we have to work something out there. We've looked at it with our engineers. We've looked at it with Bobby. Bobby was out there. We might be able to ask for some easements on the favorable side to get that sidewalk in. I think there's enough pitch on Metacomet. It looks like it's got a high point in the middle that'll pitch out to the drainage, which is great. Because when you put sidewalks in, you always got to remember you're putting a vertical berm in, and you're trapping water on the road. You got to have drainage.
Right.
But Metacomet, I thought it was pretty flat, but when we rode it, it looks like it's got a crown about halfway down, and it pitches out to Pleasant Street and out to South Street. So that's pretty good. So that's a major, I don't think it's a major sidewalk, Richard. I don't think it's.
When you say there's not a layout, what does that mean? Is it,
Well, layout is the width. Typical subdivision layout's 50 feet. On the main roads, at least 60 feet. You have secondary major connectors and stuff like that. They're probably layouts of 60 feet. And a lot of the roads aren't even built out to that. So we have wiggle room. So on Metacomet, it's pretty tight. It was just a road put in for, what do we got, maybe 5 houses on that street, maybe 6.
yeah, on one side, there's only
Yeah.
4. Yeah.
4 and then 2 on the other side. So about 6. So it's just a little street that was just built. And when it was built, I don't know. It was built before I was here. So it's narrow in width. But we can do some wiggle room down there.
So is that something then we probably should, an article at town meeting, or is that something in the budget we would have additional funds, or?
I don't think it's a big deal for the highway department to put those in. We do these little things like this with sidewalks and stuff like that. I don't think it's right now, I haven't decided where it's going, and to ask for easements, then we probably have to ask the engineers to draw the easements if the people are willing to give us an easement for a sidewalk. So it's not a big project. It's not a can't-do project. It's pretty straightforward. It may take this construction season just to lay it out, communicate with the people, and get the layouts and the easements filed down in Dedham along those lines. And we may not be able to construct it until the following year, and maybe we can be fast-tracked too.
So maybe a first step might be just to maybe invite the folks on Metacomet in to hear how they feel, and if
Right.
they can give
A lot of times if we have some kind of
You can just chat
an
with
idea or a plan or something like that, we usually put some stakes out there, put a little paint out there, and then just talk to them direct, right there in
just
front of
talk
the
to
house.
I have reserved space for an article on the warrant. I don't know whether you can withdraw that if you decide that you want to actually wait until next year to go forward with it in terms of, 'cause if you are going to take easements, you will need a layout, you will need an article if there are any easements that have to be acquired.
So are we sure that there's, because it looks like a lot of people have a fence that's quite a ways back, which I'm assuming is their property line.
Yeah, well,
So we really don't know.
No,
is that-
no, we don't have the layout. I know we don't have the layout down there. Even judging by the telephone poles, the telephone poles usually tell you where the layout is. But again, you work with them. People like sidewalks, and an easement is a lot more easier to get than a taking of their property. So I think that's something that we can look into. But I think you just work with them direct, and then if they say no, they say no, and then you have to go to another plan. That's
Maybe we should, in the next couple of months or so, invite them in and see how they feel on that.
well, this is the time of year to do it. I mean, this is.
Because, I mean, the 28th is the end warrant article, so unless we put it in and then withdraw it.
Well, I think
Sounds
the
like it's
thing is,
there.
yeah, well, I think you might be fooling yourself that we can get this done in like 2 days. I mean, you've got to have a layout, the engineers have got to map out that street, because you got to know where the property lines are and stuff like that. And that's not going to be something that's going to be done even in a couple of months, probably.
Right.
This is,
And the
takes a while.
county engineers right now are shorthanded. They used to have 3 survey crews. They're down to 1. And so it's a long time if you want free engineering. If you want professional engineering, surveyors, it costs a little more. But it's not I look at it, it's not a big project. It's just a small project. So I'd like to kick it around a little more.
And if we did that, it would be a separate warrant article, Mike, for the money to do it, or not?
That's up to Ken. You probably, if you have to take any easements, then you would need an article, because that has to be done by town meeting.
Yeah.
So,
How about the Roach Brothers sidewalk, Ken? Was that a separate warrant article, or was that just you found money in your budget for that?
That was a gift account, remember, from Roach about this. Okay.
You paid for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
and then it actually ran over a bit. I think they gave 30 and it was 40,000, so there was some that did have to come out, so.
It was worth it. I mean, it was.
Looks nice. It's expensive, although.
Next one is Public Works Utilities. We have a new garage, which is a 53% increase in the Public Works Utilities, and coupled by an N-Star 26% increase in the supply side, the generation side. So it's not the entire bill that's going 26, it's the supply side that's going up 26%. N-Star has told us they are getting no increase. So it's, what I did is I took half of what we're paying and increased it by the 26. I think I'm probably being conservative with it, which is pretty good. But again, the highway garage, electricity in the past was 35,000. I went to 50, which is a 42% increase on its own. Solid waste, electricity, we went up to, we spent, what happened was we spent over by 26%, so the electricity at the solid waste facility, you gotta remember they have electric heat in that office down there, so that's where you get that spike.
I'm sorry, where's their electric heat?
Electric heat, yes, it's
The
electric heat at
the
the
office
transfer
space
station.
at the transfer station.
So we had to go up a little bit, we had to go up, plus the 26% is what we did, over what we spent last year. Okay? Which we spent last year, 53.58, so we took the 26% and brought it up to 67.51.
That might be a good one to look at for some sort of solar installation. You could do a very small one, I would think, in that case, and you have the land down there, so.
That's the little office inside the.
That's all it is,
building,
yeah,
right?
but it's electric heat.
Is there electricity for the,
Well, we have sewage ejection pumps in the inside
Oh.
that the electricity's for, and then we have the lights.
what about the single stream trailers? Are they,
Yep, that's
That's
another, they're
electricity
electrical,
also, yeah.
compactors are run by electricity, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it all adds up. Last year, we spent $27,000, but we were heating in the garage heat, we were heating a salt shed to try and survive the winter. So we spent over on that budget. No, we didn't. Actually, it was 30,000. But again, under the heat, bigger garage, we're up at 48,000 as opposed to past budget of 30,000. So, again, I think the garage is a very efficient building, and I think we'll be okay once we get, we really got to get a year of being in there to get a more accurate budget. So I think we'll be fine in that category of heat. Telephone is what we spent last year. We went up on that for the highway garage, so that's level budgeted really from what we spent last year. So it's just, overall, the budget for the highway garage this year is up 53%, which sounds like a lot, but it was a small budget before, and it's still at $112,000. It's probably we went from 18,000 square feet to 38,000 square feet. It's probably not a real big deal. And again, we have to run the place this year to get a handle on it and make corrections on what we're doing wrong, things like that. And it's a big advantage to have our new energy guru at the garage with an office down there so that he can.
Was that where his office is?
Yeah.
I was trying
Yeah,
to figure
we
out
moved him
where
in
his
down
office
there,
was.
and-
He has one here also, and over with Sarah,
Yeah.
as a spare
So,
desk
but
there,
he's down there too, and so we'll be doing a lot of work with him on the garage and see if we can't improve what we're doing. But it seems to be, everything seems to be running very well. And,
So I had two questions about the garage from having been there for these monthly meetings, or the twice-a-month meetings for the State Hospital Planning
Yep.
Committee. When I leave at night, a lot of times there are lights on in the bays,
I think we solved that. We dumbed the bays up a little bit now. I don't think, I've been down there at night a few occasions now. They seem to be blacked out. We think the birds got in there in the beginning, and the lights would come on, the lights would go
Oh,
off.
from their,
Yeah, so
motion.
we kind of dumbed the sensors down, and hopefully we don't have that anymore.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered why the lights were on. And then the other thing is that when we're there for those meetings at night, somebody always has to put a doorstop in the door to keep it open. So
Yep.
that people can get in and out.
Yep.
That's just the way it's going to be.
The doors automatically lock, yeah.
Yeah, so,
We have a new sensor, fobs. They call them fobs. They're just little round discs now. When Donna goes in the morning, she swipes it 3 times with her fob, and that keeps it open from 7 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon, automatically, because that's when her customers come in down at the highway garage. We may be able to, obviously we can, get another fob and program it for night meetings, so it'll stay, the door will be closed but open. So that, we're working on that. We're still getting the kinks out.
Yep.
Yep. So that's Public Works Utilities.
solid waste disposal, 616,000,
Yep.
down
Down.
30,000.
Down minus 5%. Down 35,000 thanks to a new contract that we did with Wheelabrator, and started January 1st. So we will be paying less up at the incinerator. So that's minus 35,000 and minus 5%.
Does that reflect anything from the swap of less hauling away and things like that, too? Or that's just additional?
No, this is a new contract. This reduction is a new contract with Wheelabrator.
Right, we just
The tip
signed.
fee has gone down.
So
Okay, so-
where do we see, if more recycling is taking place and we're saving money, where do we see that? Which part of the budget is that in?
It would be the tip fee. It would be the tip fee, trucking costs, things like that. I don't know where we're at really on what percentage, but I think our percentage is actually increased, and our rubbish has actually gone down. And it's been pretty steady, in small increments, but pretty steady. Swap area, that would be very difficult to get a handle on what doesn't go on the tip floor, because we don't have scales and, but it's great. I mean, at Swap Area, they did a great job this year. Everybody, there was very little complaints, and the complaints were all minor. But, I think they did a wonderful job.
It was very organized, this.
Very organized, and I think that it's a good thing. It's a real good thing. And again, the clothing, you wouldn't believe the tonnage. We have to report that. We'll be reporting that in our town report. But the clothing, the Goodwill and all those clothing boxes, that's a lot of weight. So we're reducing there. And we got books now. We got 2 book bins down there. So, we're reducing with the books and stuff like that. They're being reused and stuff along those lines. So we keep trying to keep things off the floor.
So can you actually weigh the things that are in the clothing bins, you say?
We get a report from the clothing bins.
People would pick up
At the end of the year, we will ask them all to give us a report on how many pounds or tons they recycle.
And does Goodwill give you a report on
Yep.
there?
They
That's
will.
good.
They'll
Oh,
all give us a report. We just got to call them and get the report. That's all. Yep, they all will. Yeah.
The
It's
big ones you
interesting
can't get a report
what
on.
Goodwill will do. It's kind of funny is you can recycle one shoe, believe it or not, with Goodwill. What they will do with those shoes, when there's only one shoe, is they will bale them and send them overseas. And overseas, they're made into, they recycle, they get the leather, and they make them into new shoes over there and bring them back. So it's interesting. So they'll recycle one shoe to get the leather. Dirty clothes, if you got clothes that's got stains, they also sell those clothes to rag people. They make rags out of them. Or the other market for that stuff is to make it into insulation. So, or they take the stained clothes and they will actually send it down south to South America, and they will actually dye it and make it into new clothes, and probably sell it to the tourists or something with the little logos on there. But so it's an interesting market that you don't even think about on recycling.
But clearly, even the single streaming, the more people recycle, the lower the bill is going to be, because there's
Absolutely,
less we have to
it's the only
tuck away.
it's the only budget, Richard, that you can reduce by recycling. Okay, it's the only budget without making a cut to a service. It's the only budget you can do that in. So that's the importance of recycling.
So as we're looking to try to get creative and find ways to reduce the tax budget, here's a way that people can help themselves. The more they recycle with that, the less the budget's going to be reflected here, the less ultimately their tax bill will be. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
okay.
And all the committees, the solid waste committee, they're doing a great job. It would be impossible for the DPW to do what they, without their help. What they're doing in the recycling areas, advertising, and we were doing styrofoam. I think we already did 2 styrofoam recycling things, in which they had to convince me about that. But they filled up the truck.
They did.
So they kept it off the floor.
Yeah.
And it's an environmental thing, it may not be weight, but it's environmental, so
Oh, yeah.
they're doing a good job. They're really doing a great job. All volunteers.
Ken, could you talk about the salaries? Because I see the overtime is about half of the actual salaries.
Yeah, because we have, on Saturday, you have highway guys coming down there. You really only have 2 positions in the solid waste department. On Saturdays, we have to bring people in. Right now, we're short. We're short 1 guy. We haven't been able to find anybody to, it's Class 1 licenses and things like that. You got to be able to drive a trailer truck, and it's a big trailer truck, up to the incinerator. And looking for experienced drivers is, the economy's recovering. And so right now, the highway guys have to fill in, driving that truck up there. And so on Saturday, they get time and a half because they've already got their 40 hours in. So we'd like to still work on replacing that person again. We just got to advertise again the job again and see what we've got. I think we have 1 person. Well, actually, we had a couple of people that fit the bill, and they all got jobs somewhere else before we could scoop them up. But you know what it is actually even one of them could not work Saturdays. See, that's the problem, is the schedule. And then, of course, we open up on Sundays twice a year. So it's that weekend schedule that people are iffy about.
Sure. Do we pay the regular transfer station employees? Are they paid overtime on Saturday or just
No,
straight time?
that's their regular work day.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other problem with the wages in this budget is we've had a very long-term absence that we're having to pay. And that's part of the reason the overtime is so high, because
We've got a
as-
position that we need to fill, and that,
and we're paying for the vacant position because it's, well, I won't go into it, but it's a paid absence.
is that what's in the overtime, Mike?
No,
That's- That would be one of the regular salaries, but you have to pay that regular salary, and then you have to replace them at overtime, so,
So even though there are two regular salaries, one of those isn't there.
right.
Okay.
And next is the cemetery. Cemetery budget's up 5%. It is a small budget, but we got the 54 weeks. And we had an employee terminated down there, so he was removed from the budget, and we had him replaced with a person with lower numbers, but that's all part of the 5% increase. It's still all, we have an increase in the salaries. We're level budgeted in the total operations. So so the whole thing is salaries, step increases in the 54 weeks. So that's really, actually, our part of the control, it's a level budget.
Ken, where do we stand on the columbarium? There's an issue I need to talk to you about that, whether we need permission from Mass Historic on the columbarium.
Mass Historic, no, it's not in the old section. The columbarium is in the B section.
So I thought we adopted, the whole cemetery was National Historic.
I don't know about that. I'm thinking it's just the A section.
Yeah, we need to check on that, so we stay out of
Right.
trouble with them, so.
Well, cremations now are at 33%.
Yeah.
And we went out to bid for a columbarium to put ashes in. And I think we built 96, the project will be 96 niches, what they call niches. And so you can put 2 ashes in each niche. So it's marble, it's very nice looking. And so it's just that it'll save grave lots, for conventional burials.
And the Selectmen wanted to know, last week, they asked where that's going to be in the cemetery. Could you describe it to them better than I
Yeah, the
could?
B section, can't come up with anybody's name, which sometimes is
It's
kinda
somewhere near the pond, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not facing the pond. It's in the B section, which is on the other. There's some pine trees down on the pond. There's an island there with pine trees on it, and a outcrop of ledge. So what we did is we took 3 trees down, and we put the columbarium in there. It's going to be 3 separate units, which kind of will be like in that kind of a formation.
Oh, nice.
And we can put a patio in there, you can put a bench in there, whatever, at a later date. But right now, we've got, I can't remember the price for the bid, but we did have 2 bidders. We did advertise it, and so that's a project that we'll be continuing with. Under capital budget, it'll be under capital in the spring. Next budget is the water budget. Enterprise fund. Electricity is up 26%. On the supply side, again, remember, we're not going up on the whole bill, we're going up on the supply side only.
The total is $887,000.
The overall budget is actually down 1%. What happened is we replaced the old highway foreman, who had higher wages, with a new a new water foreman. We replaced him with a new water foreman who was making less. And then the new water foreman's assistant position was replaced with another person in the budget at a lower cost. And then we actually had 1 new helper come in,
Yeah.
and that's at a lower cost. So that's where you're getting your savings from, is minus 1%, and it's all related up in the, and that is including the 54 weeks too. So we actually went down 1%, which was pretty cool, in the water budget. Sewer department, sewer enterprise fund. Final one.
Ken, before you leave the water budget,
Yep.
you're budgeting almost 10% less for electricity? I'm just wondering why that is when electricity costs are going up.
Could be a consumption thing, could be over budgeted. Let me see.
I'm happy if we're more efficient now.
Yeah, could be.
We are hoping at some point the new water tower will save considerably on electricity because you don't have to pump the water nearly as far to get to the new water tower as you do
Yeah,
to
we're within,
Montego. So
last year we expended 138,000, and we did allow for the electricity increase, but we did lower it from our budget number of 203,000 down to 183, but we did allow for the increase, but
And
last year we only spent 38,000. We've been doing a lot of energy stuff.
Yeah. Did I hear you say that last year was 138 or something?
Pardon me? Yeah, we only spent 138.
Then why are we budgeting 183,000?
183, we brought it, well, remember, then you gotta still have a 26% increase on the supply side. So we're cushioning it, but it did go down. Yes, you're right, it did go down. Yep.
It would help me a lot to have that prior year actual on a column with something like that that tells me what it was a year ago.
Yeah. It is, it's on your sheet. It's 2014 expended actual, and it's the first column on the left, and you go down as 138, 230.
I'm not seeing it, I guess. Current adjusted budget, it says, is the first column.
It's the left, it's on your budget page.
I don't think they have those figures, that sheet that shows last year.
Well, what do they got?
We just have the current
They
one and the
just have the new
projected
one.
one.
All right.
yeah.
That's what we, this is what I have on my sheet, anyway, so that's why we went down on the electric anyway. So.
Next year, give us your sheets.
Well, you know, it's why give you all this information, you know? You can just note these things. Yeah, okay, I'm surprised that you don't have that. But,
Yeah, that would help me, I know. Thank you.
okay, good. Water budget is next.
Sewer,
Sure.
$1,059,000.
All right. Gets a little confusing up here on the type dip.
And that's up from 973,000.
Electric supply went up in this budget. Total budget increase, I've got here is 9%. Things that went up are sludge disposal, it's a new contract, 6% increase on that line item. That is a combination of things on the sludge. We looked at it at the 5-month consumption, it wasn't a 6-month consumption when we did the budget, and it was already 53% expended. So that was figured into the sludge disposal contract costs. And 54 weeks up above. And like I say, overall, 9% budget increase. The thing that we have on this thing, and this just recently changed, is under reserve fund. We've added $50,000 in their capital, which is infiltration inflow. That was moved out last year, so that's a driving factor on this budget right now, is that 50,000 came back into this budget. Okay, so that's where we're at on this budget, but it's reflecting in the budget, but it was in the capital before. From last year, we zeroed that line item, so that's your increase right there, your 50,000. So it's, we're playing with the same dollars, but it's back in the budget as of this week.
So without that money in there, your budget would be up about 35,000,
Yeah, we'd be down.
and that's including the 54-week payroll.
Yep. Yeah, we would be down, I believe, yeah. We would be, we had $1.9 million. So, yeah, we'd be still up, but we'd be up less.
Ken, what is I see the water meters are coming out of the budget.
No more water meters.
So are we
We're all done with that project.
We've replaced all the water meters in town.
Yep, they're all done.
can
And there
read
is a
everybody's-
surplus in the water meter.
Well, you actually don't have them all replaced, but you have enough meters in stock to
We have
replace
enough
them,
in
right?
stock, yeah. So we've bought all the meters we're gonna buy, and we have a surplus in water meters right now. There's money that unexpended right now. Those should probably go back to the uncommitted reserves.
And the state, by the way, wants you to replace the meters every 10 years. I'm not sure
Better
of
start
that.
again.
By the time you finish, you gotta start all over again if you listen to them. We think actually it can last longer than 10 years, but this is where the state is, our partnership with the state gets expensive if you listen to everything they tell you.
Somebody's
Yeah.
been doing that 10 years. I
Yeah.
mean, manufacturers are saying that 20-year meters. They'd love to replace them every 10, but the manufacturers are guaranteed their accuracy 20 years. So every 10 is a little strong. I think right now the state's got some other things going that, I don't know, if they'll come down on us for not replacing meters after 10 years. But
Anything else, Ken, or
that's it.
thank you very much for coming.
Sorry to take so long.
This program was made possible through the generous support of your Medfield friends and neighbors, folks just like you. And thanks for watching.